Okay, let's discuss your assessment assignment here that you need to work on. Our essential question, or the big question we've been really focusing on here, is how does the environment shape us? We spent a lot of time talking about this from two different perspectives. First, the cultural perspective, and second, how we adapt to the physical environment. So, your assessment is going to relate directly to what we've really been working on quite a bit here. So, in our first section, we're going to look at Jamestown and how Jamestown eventually grew into the southern colonies and how culture and the physical environment played a role in that. You're going to see the questions are the exact same for the first two sections. We just changed it from Jamestown to the southern colonies to Plymouth going into New England. So let's look at it here. This first section here. How did the culture of the people who first went to Jamestown influence the growth of the southern colonies? So talk about the culture there. Talk about how the culture influenced the people, how that becomes kind of like the way of life for everybody, and that when you're born into society, what are you going to be like based upon what their culture was and how it formed there early on in Jamestown. Second, how did the physical environment in the South impact the way that the economy was formed in Jamestown in the southern colonies as a whole? So talk a little bit about geography, talk a little bit about the climate, how did those things impact what was going on in the southern colonies? And I think that's pretty straightforward. We've talked a lot about that. Section 2 is the exact same thing just for Plymouth now going into New England. So how did the culture of the people who first arrived in Plymouth influence the growth of the New England colonies? In other words, what cultural characteristics are we going to see come about? And then how did the physical environment in New England impact the way the economy was formed in Plymouth and the rest of New England? So again, some things that I think are pretty straightforward and you guys should be able to handle. The last portion is about you today, or really you as a child, and how you've changed from being a child into today, and answering the same exact question. How are you shaped by the world around you? So include a couple ideas here related to both culture and the physical environment. Now, one thing that we have not discussed yet is how you've been impacted by the physical environment, not just your culture, but the physical environment. So this is something that I want you to think about and try to figure out how this impacts your choices and whatnot based upon what's around you in terms of the climate, geography, and whatever else. That one might be a little bit tricky, but you can think about it. Now, in terms of completing this assignment, due dates, and everything else along those lines, let's try to get as much of it done in class today as we can. You can work on it for homework as well. In terms of turning it in, just work on it, save it for now, and then we'll go from there. And I'm going to have a different method for doing this later on, but we'll just hold off on that until I come back on Friday. Okay? So good luck with this work today. Do your best and just try to stay on track thinking to yourself, how are we shaped by the world around us, culturally and also the physical environment? Okay? Good luck.